Hello YouTube, and welcome back to my channel, The Journey Back to Tarot. Today we're going to do a pick a card reading. The question asked for today is, what am I learning in this current connection, or what lessons am I learning in this current connection? This does not necessarily have to be a romantic connection. It could be a pet, a child, a family member, a special friend. We have 3 cards for you to pick from or choose from. For the first pile, we have Shiva Lingam. This was originally Tektite, so if Tektite resonates with you as well, keep that in mind. Second pile, we have Lapis Lazuli. And for the third pile, we have Angelite. Alright, so take a moment and choose whichever crystal is calling to you the most, or whichever pile is calling to you the most. We'll take a moment and then get right into it. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with pile number 1 for those of you who chose the Shiva Lingam or Tektite, because this was Tektite, and I do want to touch a little bit on what this crystal is good for. Shiva Lingam promotes overall health, overall well-being. This also promotes the Kundalini rising or Kundalini awakening and activation. So if that is something that interests you or calls you in for this stone, keep that in mind. This also represents the sacred union of divine masculine and feminine energies. And then Tektite, the original stone I placed on this deck, is good for strengthening psychic abilities, expanding consciousness, raising vibration, which is also what this rock helps to do as well. Tektite is also good for dream recollection. So if you're into dreams and journaling your dreams, Tektite is also good for that. It's also good for astral travel. So let's go ahead and jump right on into this for pile number 1. We have slow down, pause and allow things to unfold. Loneliness, I know that I am never alone. The 3 of coins, and I do good. And so instantly what I'm drawn to is that literally every card has one woman in them who appears to be very lonely. So there may be a love interest that you are dreaming about currently. If this is not a love interest, maybe you're someone who has trouble making friends. You're somewhat of a loner at heart. And I feel like you don't quite understand why. I feel like you're someone who does good things out of the kindness or goodness of your heart. You're someone who is genuinely good. You could be an empath. And so what I get from this, what you're learning from your current connection, is you're learning to be patient, for one. Number 2, you're learning to get in touch with your higher self or your higher mind and your spirit guides or divine source creator, whatever you align to or whatever you subscribe to, whatever your belief is. But I feel like you're someone who has put good things out there in general just because you're a good person. And whatever you've been doing or whatever you've been calling in with the 3 of coins here is going to manifest. This is manifestation here. So while she's alone and she's looking pretty sad about it, I feel like you've done enough good things in your life, and not necessarily for the intent of receiving something back, but simply because that's just who you are, and you have yet to receive anything back from what you put out. And that doesn't necessarily bother you, pile 1, but I feel like you still have this sense of loneliness deep down within because you have yet to find that connection or build that connection that's going to last, whether that's romantic or friendships. I just get the energy of someone who's just always alone. You may be someone who struggles to keep connections in your life. You may struggle to make friends. You may struggle to make romantic partners or connections in general. But you're someone who means well at the end of the day with the I do good card here. And I feel like whatever you've been reaping, you will sow pretty soon. But what you're learning in this present moment is how to be alone and how to enjoy your own company. And we know that by enjoying our own company, we're basically put aside so that we can really discern what it is we truly want for ourselves, what it is we truly want to manifest for ourselves. If we're constantly jumping from connection to connection and we're constantly surrounded by other people and other energies, other influences and opinions, we don't necessarily know what it is we want for ourselves, and it kind of shuts us off from our higher mind or our intuition from speaking to us. So like this woman here, she's dreaming of the life that she wants. She's manifesting this. So pile number one, if you chose pile number one, what you're learning to do here is, one, I feel like you're learning patience in this solitude. Number two, you're learning what it is you truly desire in a connection or connections, if this is friendships. And you're learning how to be alone. You're learning how to connect with yourself, your inner self, your higher mind, your higher self, and really align with who you are authentically at the core. So pile number one, you could, in this connection, you could be in a separation from a partner, or you may find yourself in connections where you're constantly having to be apart from your partner. So you may be one of those people who feel like, why can I never manifest the love that I desire in my life? Why can I never manifest that? Why can I never manifest the meaningful friendships that I wish to have? It's like, I'm a good person here, and you're manifesting, or you're going to reap what you've sown here. Pile number one. But you're learning patience now, and you're learning to be alone. Okay. All right, pile number one. That was pretty beautiful. Let's move on to those of you who chose pile number two. What am I learning in this present connection? Pile number two, Lapis Lazuli. And Lapis Lazuli is good for self-expression. I feel like this one is good for the throat chakra and the third eye chakra. Transmutes painful things into, or painful experiences into healing. It promotes compassion and generosity. This is a stone of revealing your inner truth to yourself, so that you're able to express yourself authentically. So if that stone calls to you, that's Lapis Lazuli. Pile number two, we have love who you are. You are divine, delightful, and deserving of the wonderful things life has to offer. Blame, I accept responsibility for my well-being. The Queen of Arrows. And I am humble. Alright, sorry about that, pile number two. But let's go ahead and jump right on into this. We have love who you are. You are divine, delightful, and deserving of the wonderful things life has to offer. Blame, I accept responsibility for my own well-being, and I am humble. And then we also have the Queen of Arrows, or Venus there. Right, so this Queen of Arrows cards promotes self-knowledge, honesty, which is what this Lapis Lazuli stone is about, which promotes that inner truth, that self-knowledge or self-realization. And I feel like what you're learning from this connection, pile number two, is to own who you are and accept full responsibility over yourself and your direction in life. Obviously, if we place blame for our circumstances on other people, we're giving that power over to someone else rather than ourselves. And it's easy to do that when you don't have genuine love for yourself. And I can attest to this energy of being in blame for others, for my circumstances in life. And it was because of a deep lack of love or knowledge of self at the end of the day. Once you truly get to know yourself from a divine standpoint, you realize that all of the power lies within you, and there's nothing anyone can do or say externally that's going to have any sort of influence on your life, because you're aligned to who you are authentically at the core. With the I am humble card here, you may have been someone who was very outspoken and boastful, and usually people who are in that energy, they're deep down lacking something, or lacking self-love or self-confidence at the core of it. So if you were someone who experienced that, or someone who embodied that energy or those actions, pile number 2, what you're learning here is to be authentic and honest with yourself. For one, you're learning to accept yourself for who you are, your faults, your gifts, your downfalls, and your strengths. I feel like you're taking your power back. You're no longer giving it out to other people with this blame card here. And with the Queen of Arrows card, you may be someone who in the past used your voice for things that weren't of the highest good of everyone involved. But what this card is speaking of here, the Queen of Arrows, this is about honest communication. This is about the gift or being gifted with the skill of writing or speaking. So you may be coming into that realization or honing in on that skill as a result of this connection. But I feel like overall what you're learning from this connection is to love who you are at the root of everything. And I feel like that's going to solve or begin to help you heal certain attributes about yourself. Learn to integrate that shadow side of yourself, that always wanting to be right, and the placing of blame on others in order to hold a more dominant position due to your lack of self-esteem or lack of confidence in your own abilities. But I feel like certain gifts are being awakened within you in this connection here, and one of them definitely has to do with self-expression, especially with Lapis Lazuli being the stone that wanted to be placed on this pile. All right, pile number 2, that has been your reading. Let's go on to pile number 3. For those of you who chose the Angelite stone. And Angelite is a powerful healing stone. It brings about peace and tranquility. This also helps you connect with your spirit guides and angels. All right. It also promotes self-expression as well, like the Lapis Lazuli stone. All right. So we have forgiveness here, perseverance, wisdom, and I communicate with compassion. So I feel like what you're learning from this connection here, this could have been a connection full of a lot of turmoil, maybe arguments and disagreements here. I definitely sense a connection with a lot of hardships and difficulties where you've had to practice this, you've had to practice forgiveness, and you've had to persevere through a lot of things in order to keep the connection going. So what you're learning here is to be compassionate. You're learning patience with yourself and others. And with this I communicate with compassion card, what lesson you may be learning here is how to deal with people and how to communicate with people with compassion by learning this forgiveness attribute here. Nothing is gained by holding on to past disappointment. So I feel like this connection is helping you to release your past, whether it's been a turbulent past with this person or turbulent past with others. as well. And then we have the wisdom card here, or this is the high priestess as well. So this is about using the knowledge you've attained in this connection to help others. As the high priestess, you're able to share your experiences with others and do so in a compassionate way when speaking to them. So you're able to teach compassion by showing compassion. I feel like in some way this connection has awakened you to your inner truth or your inner spirit, your gifts, if you will. 29 card, that's an 11 card, so that's 11. 11 is a master number. And with the high priestess, this is like divine feminine energy. So this connection has allowed you, or is helping you, to awaken that divine goddess within you, or that divine feminine energy within you. And what does that divine feminine look like in 3D? That's someone who speaks with compassion, someone who is able to get things done by persevering. You know that whatever you set your mind and intent to, whatever you give your energy to, you can achieve. It's all about that focused intent. I feel like there's a lot of releasing that has transpired as a result of this connection, a releasing of your past, a releasing of past hurt. And this past hurt, by releasing it, you're able to relate more with others, or you're able to be more compassionate when you communicate with others, because you're coming from a place of understanding. With the high priestess here, this is someone who transmutes or translates their pain into understanding, and is able to educate others or help others through that gained wisdom or understanding, that higher level of understanding. All right, that was beautiful, pile number 3. All right, so thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you found something here that resonated with you. If you did, don't hesitate to hit the like button. Please comment if that resonated with you, and subscribe.